I'm turning on the mic, so we're hot mics.
And this is going to be edited, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Yes, absolutely.
Check.
I know spoilers are going to be an issue. And remind me. And you play Inez.
Yes.
Okay, that's right. I did see the film. Yes, that's a. I get that question a lot. Not because of my bad.
Yeah, you never
joke.
know.
Insult me on the mic.
Please. You said they're twins, so
yes,
you never know.
That's right. Well, they're not. You know, no, obviously you're not.
They're fraternal twins.
Yeah, obviously, because otherwise, why? It would be funny to.
Sororal.
I like suboral.
Sororal twins.
But it's funny. It would be.
And suboral.
It would be odd to cast two different, unrelated actors to play identical twins.
Yes, definitely.
It would be an odd choice.
It was even difficult to cast them playing fraternal twins because it just narrows down the casting pool so tremendously. It was really quite a challenge.
Yes. Yeah.
Also because we had to cast them as adults and as teenagers and as babies.
Yes.
So it was quite a casting challenge.
Yeah. Well, you use the same CG technology, I believe, that Martin Scorsese uses in The Irishman. I saw it. I was at the fence. I just have to say, I'm not going to give away. It just turns out that it's really, really good. I was so happy that movie turned out to be good, and I'm not going to spend much time on that movie.
One of our actors is in it, Louis Conselmi.
Right, I know Louis. Yeah,
he dumps her.
That's right. Yeah,
he dumps Inez.
I know.
That's a spoiler. Okay.
And he has the greatest pair of aviators in the Scorsese movie. He's so good in that movie. And the reason I bring it up is because after the screening, all the actors came out, not Louis, but the Al Pacino and Martin Scorsese, and he said that because they played themselves at different ages. At one point, Al in character is he plays Jimmy Hoffa, and he gets up from a couch, and Scorsese says, "Al, you're 49." So he had to get up like a 49-year because he's got the CG face, but as an actor, he had to have the energy in certain scenes of somebody half his current age, or so. Wow. Not doing good math there, but
maybe
he's an old man.
They could have had stunt doubles for getting up off the couch.
It's not long before that will be the case. He's getting up there. He's still, obviously he's great. He's live. He was wonderful. He's funny, and he's got as much of a charisma as ever, but. We're not here to talk about The Irishman. We're here to talk about that for a smooth transition. We're here to talk about Inez, ampersand, and Doug, and Kira, which stars Michael Chernus and Tawny Cypress. That's right. And what's...
Talia Thiesfield.
Say it in the mic, though.
Talia Thiesfield.
What's her last name?
Thiesfield.
Thiesfield.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, very good. I'm so glad that somebody brought it to my attention because I really, maybe it was a number of reasons, but, I watched it at home and I just was immediately drawn right into it and found myself very moved by the film.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a safe trip home. You didn't know I didn't.
There are some interviews that are good. And this has been extraordinary.
You're a busy guy.
Thank you.
That is the correct answer.
You've been following me around.
I have. Yeah, I catch you in quite a few things in the last bunch of years. So how did you come to this project, Julia? How did you meet Michael? And
I wrote it, directed it, co-produced it and edited it, and I worked with an amazing casting director, Paul Schnee of Barden Schnee. Okay. And he brought all of these lovely, wonderful people to me whom I would have absolutely no way of knowing otherwise.
Wow. So you literally just kind of, he just put it all these faces, or rather these actors together for you.
Yeah.
And you just trusted in that.
Yes. I trust him implicitly, especially after having worked with him on this movie. Like, he's just unbelievable. Yeah. Such a nice man. Like, also just such a really great guy. And with Michael's character, I actually come from comedy. All other stuff I've done before was comedy. So This is not a comedy, but it does have, it does have funny parts, you got to admit. Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Did you see the movie?
No. I've been.
But I wanted, when I was writing it, I always envisioned an actor for Doug who had very strong comedic chops, and Michael is incredibly good at comedy, and he gets cast a lot in a lot of very, very funny characters, funny roles. Because I kind of feel like if you can do comedy, you can do anything. And also, I thought that perhaps, and so Michael, I don't know if he's a Juilliard-trained actor. He's like the real deal. He's an actor with a capital A.
I'm so glad I came this morning to this interview.
No, but
this is just the therapy session I needed.
But basically, I thought, somebody who gets cast a lot in comedy may want to do like a very heavy dramatic lead role, and that's kind of what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the thing you have to access as an actor to like truthfully play comedy, for lack of a better word, is like right next to the dramatic universe. Like, I mean, like it's sort of the trope of the sad clown, but I think those two trains run concurrently, actually. And so, yeah, like especially if we're not talking about like maybe like slapstick sort of like dumb college humor, but like actually like a slightly elevated kind of comedic approach. Like there is sort of baked into a comedian a sort of level of depression and self-deprecation and self-hatred.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. So that you can bring that with you. But there is certainly a tradition of, as you said, Julia, of comic actors who, named Jim Carrey or Robin Williams. I mean,
Adam Sandler.
They've all done it.
Yeah. It's in fact, in a lot of cases, like you mentioned, Michael went through Juilliard. That's the background, and then they end up getting known as a comic actor, even though that wasn't necessarily always their intention.
Totally. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Tawny, what's your? Share this with me, Tawny.
Yeah, I read the script and I fell in love with the character immediately. I get a lot of auditions. I have to. It's like a full-time job where I just get rejected and not paid, which is depressing. But I get so many auditions. I can't. There's no way I can invest in all of them, But when this part came around, I knew I had to give it my all because I loved Inez. As soon as I read her written out, I wanted it so badly, and so I went in with everything I got, guns blazing, and it worked out.
You're twin, as we mentioned. I think we mentioned on the podcast already. So, what went into building that kind of relationship? Because twins have obviously a very special relationship.
Absolutely.
Even though your two characters have a very, let's say, competitive relationship, still there is something very.
What's just sort of. Fell into my lap, this relationship, because I have a very similar relationship with my sister. She is my best friend, but we've not spoken for 2 years at a time. She's only a year ahead of me, but people have always thought we were twins. So it's actually very similar. I can't wait for her to see the movie because she's going to see a lot of our relationship in there. So I didn't have to go far to draw.
Right. Did you have like conversations with Talia about that? Because maybe she doesn't have that experience.
Oh, absolutely. So. We connected. It was such a short shoot, and we were all very squished in small spaces. It was the hottest part of the summer. We were going through it, and so connecting with the other actors was actually very easy. We spent a lot of time, especially me and Talia, connecting as friends and as sisters. So
you guys got super tight, super quick.
We did get super tight.
It was really.
Yeah, we relied on each other. There was a lot of crying, and we relied on each other to get. Well, every day I had to go in and cry. There were days I didn't have to cry, and I was like, "Thank God, it's like a holiday."
You were kept on a certain level of emotional.
I had to stay
tension.
on that level. Yeah. For the few weeks. Yeah, every day was some level of crying. There's silent weeping to all-out bawling, but yeah.
Are you grateful for that, or is that really?
I am grateful for that because, I'll tell you, my acting teacher, my mentor, Barbara Marchant, always said that acting is not therapy and that we should all have therapists. But I tend to use it as therapy anyway. So it was actually very cleansing for me to
cathartic.
It was cathartic.
Because, there was always the criticism of the method is, that you're kind of fucking with actors.
Yes.
Lee Strasberg or whomever. There is a line, and once it's crossed, it kind of screw you up a little bit. This is a very intensely demanding film, and to have such a short shoot, which is also the reality of the world that the independent film budget allows for. But, as a filmmaker trying to achieve a certain level of drama, of credibility, of doing something special, essentially, with your film, which you did achieve, I want to repeat that, but a short schedule like that where you don't have tons of time to prepare or to workshop or to explore, I mean, it's a good thing to have professionals, I guess.
Yeah, no, they came in with all of their work done, and all the actors brought so much to it that although we didn't have, I think we had 1 day of rehearsal, but they're just so on top of it. And I've worked for the last decade as an editor, so I know exactly what I want and how it's going to cut together. And I also draw out every shot and come in with a shot list.
You do?
I
do.
Well,
that's important, of course.
Yeah. So I have everything diagrammed on overheads to scale. And
is that like it was variation on storyboarding, essentially?
It is a variation. Yeah, you can do it either way. You can do storyboarding like a comic book, or you can do it floor plans like you're an interior designer. And then I draw every character and like where they go and
blocking
every camera. Yep, and every camera angle. So what I do is I actually I rip floor plans from Street Easy and draw over them, and I actually place furniture to scale like a graphic design, like an interior decorator. That's what I do. And then I put every character there and every camera angle and every move, and then basically so I come in there super prepared, and then the additional takes that we end up doing I can concentrate on performance rather than trying to get additional coverage. So I really had to, and especially we shot this in 16 days, which is quite short. And and I think all that preparation really paid off because the performances and the fact that they came super prepared and were such an exceptional actors. So we got it.
No, I mean, all credit is due to you. Doesn't matter how prepared you are as an actor. If you show up and the set is an unorganized disaster, no work is going to get done. And
that must give you a lot of confidence. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It gave me a feeling of being like safe and taken care of, and it relieves so much anxiety. Because also when you sign on to an indie film and you don't know the director beforehand, and it's a 16-day shoot, you're like, this could be a nightmare. And this was the exact opposite of a nightmare, 1,000%, because of how prepared Julia was. And she's underselling it a little bit. I mean, these storyboards were like storyboards on steroids. I mean, it was the kind of... She also poured her heart and soul and everything she has into this film. Clearly. And it shows. And so I think we were inspired by knowing how much you, Julia, cared about it and how much you'd invested in it, literally. That,
and there were no wasted minutes ever. Like we were always knew what was coming next. We knew exactly what was going to happen, and that's all. Yeah, Julia.
And we did have,
good on you.
Yep.
I guess.
No, but the point being that she's going to be annoyed that I say this, but Julia's the star of this. I mean, that it was all her passion project, her labor of love, and when we came on set, so much was taken care of that you then felt artistically free.
Yes, to focus on.
And even the way it was written, the characters were complete in the script. It's not. It didn't take much for us to come up with how these characters were supposed to be, because she had already fleshed them completely out in the script.
But it's a confusing script timeline-wise, because you jump back and forth, and there are sort of like dreamlike sequences where you don't know if it's reality. And so mapping that, especially when you're shooting out of order, mapping the logic of the story would have been incredibly difficult if Julia wasn't so on top of it. And so we all felt like we could go to her and go like, wait, what part of the story are we in right now? What just happened before?
We were never lost.
Never lost.
And neither are we as viewers, by the way, which is also, I mean, it's a sign of a good, you can have a linear story and be lost. I mean, so
story of my life.
Good one. Again, the name of the film is Inez and Doug and Kira, and it's we're at the Woodstock Film Festival where it's having, I'm going to guess it's New York premiere.
It's world premiere.
world premiere. Wow.
Yay!
That's a great where it's having its world premiere. And where next are you? What's next?
Such a good question.
Everything hinges on this interview.
Well, you can just relax because you have nothing. But I'm lucky enough to be here at the Woodstock Film Festival and to support. I think is a great independent film, which I think a lot of people are going to fall in love with. It's going to it requires a lot of its viewers. It's not without, as we said, humor and its lighter moments, but yeah, I mean, this is a real dramatic film, and it's the expertise of it. I'm not just blowing smoke here, but the expertise of it that you guys articulated so well is the experience. So you feel you're in very, very capable hands, and I think in no small measure that this film should have a success and people should see it. So I'm going to root for you, and if I can do anything on my end, I'm happy to get the word out about this particular film and champion.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I agree.
I think that's great.
Thanks. I would sort of throw back, just a general question, like, what is wrong with a film that asks a lot of its audience? Like, I feel like we're in this world now where we all have the attention span of like a gnat because we're all obsessed with our phones and everything. But like, this is a film that's about storytelling, and for me, it like sort of harkens back to like a period of American filmmaking in like the 60s and 70s that was about people and story and
that's right,
complicated relationships,
and everybody loves those films. So I don't understand why it's such why the industry doesn't
because of superheroes.
No, it's very true. I know that, but if you put these,
I was in one. I can say it.
If you just let's do an experiment, okay? If they just put these films like Inez and Doug and Kira in the movie theaters, just as an experiment for a week, just give me a week. And I promise you, people go see the films. But anyway, Michael Chernus, Tawny Cypress, Julie Kots. Good luck with the film, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.